On an August night in 1997, in the heart of Paris, full of mystery and luxury, a story unfolded that shocked the whole world and became one of the most mysterious pages in modern history. Princess Diana, the embodiment of grace and charm, together with her companion, Dodi Al-Fayed, son of the famous Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed, went on a trip through the night Paris, a trip from which they were never to return. But was this tragedy an accident? Why did Mohammed Al-Fayed, until his death, believe it was nothing more than a planned assassination? And what did he say the royal family could never forgive Diana for? This is Frozen History Channel, and let's glue the pieces of this mysterious story together. He spent millions to prove his hunch. Princess Diana and his son, Dodi, were not in the Paris tunnel by accident. Mohammed Al-Fayed, the Egyptian billionaire, quietly passed away at the age of 94. Until his last breath, he was certain. They haven't forgiven Diana for choosing a Muslim, he said. Drop everything and come here. This short order over the phone Dodi carried out lightning fast. $30 million had been paid by the billionaire Al-Fayed for the yacht Jonical, and she was part of one big and very ambitious plan. This huge white behemoth, 195 feet long, equipped with everything one could wish for, was to help bring Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed closer together in the summer of 1997. The private cruise was conceived and executed simply brilliantly. Events unfolded with dizzying speed. Mohammed himself could not believe how miraculous the circumstances. Model Kelly Fisher, who at the time was considered his son's lover, was suddenly recalled to an urgent advertising shoot in New York, and Princess Diana was completely free. She was divorced, her relationship with surgeon Hasnat Khan was at an impasse, and Dodi was incredibly attentive and convincing. Journalists found out about everything so quickly that a legitimate question arose: who kept the press informed of Diana's movements? On the newspaper pages flashed photos from luxury vacations. Here's a villa in Street Tropas belonging to Al-Fayed. Here's that amazing yacht. Every appearance of Diana in public was carefully recorded. She looks happy, journalists wrote enthusiastically. And for the photo, Hiss, made in July 1997, the photographer received about $6 million. The public was waiting for a sensation. The public speculated, will they get married or not? A princess of hearts and a Muslim. Mohammed Al-Fayed has long dreamed of being his in the circles of the English aristocracy, but he was received through the grapevine. Yes, he owned a huge department store, Harrods, and a soccer club. Yes, he owned the Ritz Hotel in Paris, but he remained the new rich, a man who rose from the bottom. The English nobility were not too keen to associate with him. Those whose family trees began in the 13th century had no reason to ingratiate themselves with this man. According to legend, Mohammed started out by selling homemade lemonade and then went into the trucking business, first as an ordinary truck driver, then as a co-owner of a private company. However, his path to his first earned million seems a bit hazy. That's often the case for the very rich. The lemonade merchant moved forward very rapidly, got the right contacts with sheikhs and emirs, and now he is already buying the Ritz. Doesn't it look like a fairy tale? Marrying his son to a princess was also like a story in a paperback book. But Mohammed was doing everything he could to make Diana and Dodi's relationship a success. There were classic moves like a diamond necklace. Later it would be called Swan Lake, and it would never be bought out by jewelers. And that very yacht. Add to that Dodi's undoubted charm. No wonder that the press argued over and over, is she already in the position? How did the palace react? The palace, or rather its inhabitants, were vacationing in Balmoral, where they traditionally spent the end of summer. Reports of Diana's movements were undoubtedly received there. On that very August day in 1997, when the car left the Paris hotel and then ended up in the tunnel under the Alma Bridge, the call came no later than 3:20 a.m. Mohammed found out all about it around that time. He had to pick up his son and flew to Paris by helicopter. According to Muslim customs, Dodi should have been put to death at 24 hours. Mohammed made it in time. On August 31 and September 1, the Herdos department store was plunged into darkness. On the billionaire's orders, the lights were turned off, and then he became the royal family's chief accuser. Her Highness the Princess told me of her concerns before and after the vacation we spent together in July 1997. Mohammed Al-Fayed told the court about attempts by Prince Philip and Prince Charles to get rid of her. The hearings were held in public. something Al-Fayed particularly insisted on. The name of Camilla Parker Bowles, whom the billionaire indirectly linked to Princess Diana, was also heard there. They wanted to settle their personal issue quickly, Mohammed claimed, alluding to Prince Charles and his long-term lover. The billionaire based his version on personal conversations with Princess Diana and speculation about how the secret intelligence service MI6 operated. According to the billionaire, the royal family did not want to allow Princess Diana to get close to a Muslim man. Another claim for Mohammed is that not only Diana's ex-husband and former father-in-law, but also her own sister Sarah and Prime Minister Tony Blair were involved in the plot. By press count, the billionaire made a total of 175 statements in favor of his point of view. But Mohammed's words were not taken seriously. He spent millions looking for evidence of his version, but this point could not be clarified. The investigation, which was undertaken by the London police, also reached a dead end. They found no clues except Mohammed's words. In 2010, the billionaire in fact parted with England. He sold a department store and a soccer club owned by him and preferred to settle in Switzerland. True, the real estate in the center of London and the estate in Scotland remained behind him. In London, he enclosed his eyes forever. Mohammed was able to do what others could only dream of. He turned from a poor Egyptian into one of the wealthiest people in the world. And his name is forever linked to Princess Diana. Even 100 years later, the story in the tunnel will probably continue to be a source of interest and controversy.